On this question, we see that we have a system of equations, but we know that this is really an intersection. Anytime you have more than one equation, and the question is talking about the answers, that's really talking about the idea of where do these functions intersect. And for intersections, the rule is to get the equations in the y equals format and set them equal. So that would look something like this. So we've got them in the y equals, and we're setting them equal. Now, this is a quadratic situation, and for quadratics, you want to get one side equal to 0, preferably with the x squared being on the positive side. So we can just add 1.5, and we'll get 0 equals x squared plus 8x plus a plus 1.5. And now we can turn our attention to this part, the idea that there's one solution, and the number of solutions of a quadratic is a reference to the discriminant, which is the part under the radical in the quadratic equation. And the discriminant can play one of three ways. The numbers we're about to use here are not part of this question. So you could have, for instance, 2 plus and minus root 4 over 3, 2 plus and minus root 0 over 3, 2 plus and minus root negative 4 over 3. So in these numbers that have nothing to do with this question, you could see that if you had a positive here, you'd get two answers because you'd be adding and taking away. If you had 0 here, you get one answer because you're not adding or taking away anything, and a negative here, and that's no solutions because you're not allowed to have a negative under a radical. So if the discriminant is positive, that's two solutions. If the discriminant is equal to 0, that's one solution. And if the discriminant is negative, that's no solutions. And so we're told there's one solution. So we're basically being told that the discriminant b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. So what are the a, b, and c right now? The a is the 1 in front of the x squared. The b is the 8 in front of the x. And the c is this entire binomial, which is definitely highly strange compared to other discriminant questions. So plugging that in, we have 8 squared minus 4 times 1, which we're not going to count because when you multiply by 1, nothing happens, times a plus 1.5 equals 0. 8 squared is 64, and we're going to distribute that negative 4. So minus 4a minus 6 equals 0. 64 minus 6 is 58. Add 4a to both sides, and a is 14.5.